Welcome to Invented in the Ink. I'm Matt. I've been a tool owner in a gaming tool since 2018. I've been playing trading card games since I was like 6 years old. And I'm here excited to talk about Lorcana with my co-host.
Hey guys, this is Scott. I have been a board game enthusiast since I was about 10 years old, so about 30 years now I've been playing board games. I'm not that good into TCGs, but Lorcana's definitely bringing out that side of me.
And I'm Mike. I also got playing board games and card games about 30 years ago. A little less than that, but right around when Ice Age came out in Magic, and played for about 15 years. Took a 10-year hiatus, and here I am playing more card games.
Alright, so look at that. What got you into Lorcana? Have you thought of, God?
Just Disney itself. Disney has been a part of my life since I can remember. It's probably one of the first fandoms that I was ever obsessed with. Still obsessed with it. I've still seen every single Disney movie and TV show. And when they announced Lorcana coming out, like the day of, I'm on the phone to my family, my friends saying, "You're getting this with me. We're buying it."
Yeah, for me, I think part of it just is my history with card games. I've always kind of liked that idea of exploring, new combos or putting cards together, either making a deck or understanding decks that exist. But yeah, like I said, I took a hiatus from Magic for about 10 years, and when the pandemic was here, I started playing a game called Keyforge, which I really liked, but it was really hard to find people to play. And then I saw at our game store here that we were going to have a Learn to Play event for Lorcana, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. It'd be a lot easier to play and find people I know if the game's coming out. And ever since that sealed event, that starter deck event, I was just hooked and couldn't stop playing. How about you, Matt?
Well, for me, I've always been a fan of trading card games. I've always been my number one king. I played Magic on and off for years. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Pokemon. And I was kind of at the point where I have a lot of hate related with Magic, so I've always been looking for kind of other games to more fill that niche. And like you would keep, I played Cardfight Vanguard and the Legend of the Five Rings Dripping card game. I really liked those games. Could not really find a solid play group around here. So when I saw Lorcana coming out and I read the rules for it, I knew that it would be a good fit for me. I'm very excited.
I remember Matt and me, when Lorcana was coming out, literally this was all we were talking about every single day for 3 months.
Yeah.
It seemed like that's all we could talk about.
Yeah, I think May is when we started talking, and then August is when they came out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the tail end of the hype train, I guess, because you guys had both heard about it and were ready for it. But I really got into it I think when I talked to you, Matt, at the store, it was probably the first or second time that we had met, and I was talking about it, and you're like, "We just stopped pre-orders yesterday." I was like, "Oh no!" And then all of the craziness about trying to find product. That was me going to Meijer and Targets at 6 o'clock in the morning trying to find stuff.
We had so many people calling, and it was one of the things that we started a wait list in February, and then the last month we got all the phone calls. So hey, you can do Lorcana, you can do all this. So once we actually there was a ton of people we had to turn away because everyone was so excited for
And I think what happened is at the beginning of the game, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a new Disney card game. I'll check it out when it comes out." Blah 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 blah, all this stuff. But then as we got closer, people realized, "Oh, this isn't going to be as available as we thought it was." And that's why all these people started just "Do you got it? Do you got it? Where is it?"
Well, and also once they read the rules, when people saw more of the cards, and people actually realized the potential of this game, it really just drove hype. And that one thing I see a lot nowadays is people have figured out how to make hype engines work. Which is why I always tell people, stay on top of news, pre-order two. Pre-order physical games. Video games are different.
Yeah. It's I've been excited that they've had a lot more product available. Sounds like some people are getting concerned that the first chapter won't be as available, but we'll see. We haven't heard anything definitive, right?
They have always said all these sets will be print on demand. So as long as people still want them, they're still gonna print them. Like there may be like small windows in between printings where it's not available, but we don't have a set rotation, like Magic Standard. So all of the sets are going to be tournament legal for a long time. So they want to make sure that new players still have access to the old cards. Because they don't want to force people to like spend a ton of money on secondary markets or make it be like, hey, you have to buy the $100 card that no one going to print to be competitive. So sounds like they're gonna keep on printing. So, like I went to Target the other day. They have a month of first chapter booster packs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing that more and more, that it's actually first chapter boosters out in the market, and it's Rise of the Bloodborne that I'm finding only in the board game stores.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But both are readily available wherever I go.
It's good to hear. I made the impulse decision and bought too many cards early on, some at above MSRP. So I'll admit to that. But I had to get my hands on the cards, man. There's just something about bringing in that Disney nostalgia, that trading card, and that like I'm gonna solve problems, kind of stuff all together in one place.
Alright, so I think we touched on it a little bit, but like, good idea, bad idea. What do you like about Lorcana, and what don't you like about it?
For me, it's the simplicity of the game right now. Comparing it to Magic, to Digimon, to Pokemon, this game is extremely simple. Doesn't mean it doesn't have a lot of strategy behind it, but it's so easy to just pick it up and play.
Yeah, I like that too. I heard, I think it was on the Podcana podcast where they were talking about, and they were saying, yeah, all these people are talking about it being simple. They said, well, technically, if you look at chess is simple. There's no hidden information. There's only a small set of rules to learn, but people have been playing that game for hundreds, maybe 1,000 years now, right? And it's just almost infinitely, depth of strategy.
Yeah, like the term I hear constantly in multiple games is just simple to learn, hard to master. So Lorcana does have depth, it has strategy, and with each new tech that comes out, we are getting way more depth to the game, but they are still keeping it simple for new people to join and pick up and learn how to play. Which is good. Like I said earlier, I really like the Legend of the Five Ring card game. That game was not new player friendly. That game had a lot to cake in. It was a very complicated game. So because of that, it was hard to grow the base. So having it easy to get into, make it less intimidating for younger people or people who have bad experience with other strategy games. I know a lot of people who like show up to a Magic event and that get stomped by a overcomplicated brood deck and never want to touch the game again.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I like about it, I mean, coming from a Magic the Gathering background, was just that the resources in this game, like, so deciding, which cards to ink and which ones to not, like having each card, if it's inkable, have, more than one purpose. I really love that in games, not just card games, but board games too. It adds to the strategy, and you really have to think, 2 or 3 steps down the line of how important is this going to be or not. But it also gets rid of some of the annoyances that I have with Magic, which is, not having enough mana when you need it. Whereas I have to admit, one of the Friday nights that I was here playing Lorcana, I brought a deck that had, I think, over 20 uninkables, and I didn't realize, that was a little too much.
Sorry, everyone in this room just instantly flashed back to that night, so we're all just laughing. Yeah, that was a interesting night of learning what not to do.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the fun part was, like, how far can I go? Like, can I push it? I think most people online are like, oh, don't go above 15. Like, that's really the max. I'm like, but what if I go to 20? Can I, how far can I really push this? And with some of my decks, I mean, granted, my 1 mil deck has more than 70 cards, but, putting cards to mitigate the uninkables. And so I like exploring that kind of space, which is, again, for a new game, there's plenty of unexplored areas. Another reason why I just love this game.
So we're talking about a lot of what we like. I'm not going to tell you what I don't like. I don't like the card quality. So Ravenberg, who made the game, is a board game company. And these cards feel a lot more like board game card than trading cards. So that is one of the downsides. But like the game itself is great mechanically. I really like how they set it up. I like how you can do anything and there's no phases. You can do anything in whatever order you want to play. Which makes it way more easier for new players to wrap their heads around and give you way more potential for combos.
Yeah, I think to expand on your point about the quality, it's not just like an individual print run. I think the differences between print runs or quality of cards, like I'll compare 2 cards. I remember even first set, before they even had the reprint of it, for the first chapter, I was looking at 2 of the Tinkerbell Tiny Tacticians, and one was like very faded out, and the other one was very kind of bright yellow, that kind of spotlight in the picture. And I was like, I know these aren't fake. I opened both of these from packs, but just the fact that there's such a difference, that is kind of a bummer. And some of the other packs that I've opened have almost felt like there's like some dust almost on the back of the cards. I don't know if you guys have experienced that.
I have figured that multiple games. Like that one's not uncommon, but what I'm really talking about is like, do you call it thinner?
Okay.
Like if you compare them to like a Magic or Pokemon card, they have a little bit more thickness to them.
And I'm wondering, is that just because they're new to TCGs? But I recognize other TCGs use the same quality of paper.
I think,
like Digimon is very close to this.
yeah, I think that the probably the company they go to, or like the do to like, oh, it worked for this. Why? Part of the reason why Magic and Pokemon are the way they are is I know they use that to help with counterfeiting because because some of them will have like a little like blue strip in the middle, and that's one way you can tell if it's called a real or not. With at that point you like, oh, the fake.
So you have to physically cut into the card to determine if it's a...
That's one of the ways you can tell.
Wow.
The other way, but that is like one of the like yeah, they're called fake. Tail Teeth doesn't have the blue line. Or like, oh, I guess I'm buying the card up for you now.
Do me a favor. Don't touch my cards.
No, that's always I'm 90% sure they call fake. But like that, well, yeah, that's not gonna work for Lorcana. If anyone's interested, the go-to I'm hearing is in the corner. There's a little thimble that have a diamond teardrop thing. A lot of fake cards that is round, not a diamond.
Huh.
So that's one of the ways I hear people talking about judging fake cards.
I'll be honest, I never even noticed that it was a diamond inside of it. But yeah, I'm looking at both sets 1 and 2, and yeah, it's definitely a diamond.
Yeah, for the listeners, it's in the
Lower left, right? It's highlighting the artist's name for that card.
Right now, that seems to be one of the go-to first king to check online.
It's crazy how fast some of these counterfeiters get out there. I mean, this game's only been out for, what, like 5 months?
Yep, and that's part of the reason why they wait. They wait until like the game's almost out to really show you the cards. Okay, so really, do you think Lorcana will go the distance? What do you think is the longevity of the game? Do you think it have a chance to really grow and adapt itself?
I want to say yes. It has the potential for multiple sets at this point. we barely scratched the surface of what Ravensburger and Disney have access to in the idea of their library. So, unlike some other card games where they have X amount of characters and they just spit out different versions of the same character, Lorcana right now, because we barely scratched the surface, has so many characters to touch on. They can easily have multiple sets coming out that will be brand new and feel brand new. So the question I have is, will they be able to maintain the excitement of the game that Magic has, that Pokemon has, that every time a new set comes out, the stores get filled with people wanting to play, looking for those cards. So I want to say yes, Lorcana's going to be around for a while. That's my hope.
Yeah, that's obviously my hope too. We're making a podcast about this. We hope that it lasts longer than, a year. But, I think you're right. There are things to consider that are, I was thinking back to Magic the Gathering. Scott, earlier you told me that you had also started around when, you played Ice Age.
Way back at Ice Age.
And, you think back, and that was really at that point, the only trading card game that people had to play. I mean, in the next 5 years, there were probably, dozens more that came out, and many of them crashed and burned.
And I remember back at that time, Ice Age or Magic itself was just, it was like that dirty little secret that you played off in the corner. I remember in high school, we had our free periods and we'd play this game and we'd be like off in the corner playing it so no one would see what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And now look at TCGs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with the rise of, the popularity of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, people always like to compare, is it going to be one of the big three? And I don't know if that's the right question for this. I think, it definitely has a chance to be up there, but those games have so many years behind them. And, I like what you said, that they have a ton of IP to work with, and I think, honestly, it's the IP and, making some good decisions by Ravensburger that's going to really drive this beyond this is a card game that lasted 3 years, that was a good run, into something that becomes, hey, this has lasted 3 decades.
Yeah, I think the game's going to be really good because really that's the game to pull. Like, look at the two big trading card games. Magic, it's really good because of the gameplay and the mechanics. That's really why people like it, really why people get into it. Mm-hmm. Pokemon is really popular because of the IP, because people want to collect the cards. And so Lorcana, I feel like, have a good establishment of both. Kind of have a really good mechanical gameplay, and it's Disney. Disney have a great IP. It's recognizable. A lot of people like Disney. Like, I think Disney can easily, like, I don't know if that game is ever gonna be better selling than Magic or be better selling than Pokemon. I can honestly see the game maybe actually beating Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of on the decline. And also Magic in a weird place right now. So I can easily see that see that establishing itself up with those and competing with those.
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, what works for Lorcana really well right now is it is Disney. Whereas like Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Fight Vanguard, or even Flesh and Blood. These are all games that, unless you know what it is, it's not going to entice you to play. This is Disney. Everybody knows Disney.
Yeah.
Everybody recognizes these characters. They don't even need to know how to play the game, and they can easily like, I know that. I know who that is. Mm-hmm. And it gets them excited for it, that they want to learn to play this game.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, yeah, they tell people the winning the Pooh Joker Honey Wither card. People are going to be like, what that from? I want that.
Yeah. I have a fun story about me and my wife playing this game, in our kitchen. And mind you, I had also tried to get her to play Keyforge with me. And because I made the wise decision, wise in quotation marks, to start a new card game in the middle of a pandemic, where it's really hard to find people to play with. And, I had tried to convince my wife to play with me, and the game just drug out for a long time. It was confusing. The IP was just something that seemed a little bit off the wall to her. But comparatively, the first set of Keyforge and the first set of Disney Lorcana aren't that complicated. Like they're, I would say, on equal levels of complexity. In
Keyforge, I felt was more complex than Lorcana.
yeah, but it's still I think both had the idea that you play a card and you can't use it until your next turn, and you don't interact on your other person's turn. It's not like Magic where you're teaching tons of different phases. Yeah, I would say maybe it's slightly more complicated, but for sure, my wife was probably less confused playing Lorcana, having it be the second TCG that I introduced her to, but also there's something about the beautiful art, the characters you can relate to, the fun things you can say, like I'm going to play this smash, or I'm going to fire the cannons at your Ariel. It's just kind of like brings a smile when you say it, that I think has really helped her to look past the maybe complications of playing a card game.
Speaking of that term, I just remember I was playing a game with some of my friends at their house, and the guy used the port mechanic to give Grandma Taro like +8 attack, and I'm just like, Grandma Taro got hands, and he trapped someone. Like he just came in and just destroyed.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, it's either 1/1.
I was gonna say, I thought she was 1/1. I'm looking at the card right now, and he got it up to 8.
Yeah, he used Scepter on like 2 different people, and someone else had support, and yeah, Grandma Taro came and wrecked someone. It was great.
Yeah, so it's always fun when you take a minute outside of the competitive nature of the game and just be like, can you imagine this happening?
Okay, but now we have a new goal we gotta accomplish.
Right? How strong can you make Grandma Tala? Can she take out Goofy night for a day?
Well,
Use a 10-10.
you just gotta flood out. You just gotta flood the board. You gotta get Alex out to get everyone's support, and you just have everyone support Grandma Tower. Like, great, we can do this.
She gets one giant swing in before she goes to ink.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the funny cosplay that you could have happen. You have like a really beefed up Grandma Tala, and you're like, what is it? Grandma Tala that's been supported.
And those are the fun jokes in the community. With the one thing I like is seeing these games like this that provide so many fun opportunities. And I just as a sole organizer and owner and seeing the community grow, it's been really fun. And been really to see a lot of the fun interacting and people getting into the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually have a good test to see if I can convince old Magic the Gathering veterans to give the game a chance. So I'm visiting with my brothers up this next weekend, and they play Magic. They still play Magic. And last time I tried introducing them to Keyforge, and they were kind of 50 on it because they're like, oh, I like the idea, but I can't construct my own deck. So we'll take this up there, see what they think. I don't have high hopes just because, once a Magic player and you're still playing, it's hard to...
I don't know, though. I know friends that have been playing Magic for 15 years. They are playing Lorcana now, too.
Yeah.
So there have been times where I've gone and met them, and we play around the Magic, and then we play around the Lorcana, and then we go back to Magic, and then back to Lorcana.
But it's fun, yeah.
And it hasn't just been like one person. It's been multiple Magic players.
Yeah, I introduced the game to my brother over the holiday, and he had constantly be like, "Hey, do you have this deck in, or do you have these cards?" He'd been really into it, so and he found friends down where he lived to play with him. So I just see the community that we're growing, and I'm very happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I do have going in my favor is that my oldest brother has 4 children. And and probably 2 of them are of the age where they could, understand and play this card game relatively easily. So, and then the other brother, they just had their firstborn, so probably be a little bit before he gets into it. But I think having the IP that is such, so approachable for younger audiences is, again, something that's going to make this game go far.
And speaking of the young audience with the IPs, one thing I noticed with Lorcana is it's not just the classic IPs in here. We're getting some of the recent ones too. So it's drawing both the classic Disney fans and the new Disney fans all at the same time.
Yeah, the most offensive card right now, it's like the Elta Enchanted. That's the one that when all the other Enchanted from set 1 are going down in value, that one I think went up like $200. Like that's the one people are still chasing after, and like Elta, a very new IP. I think what 5-6 years ago.
It's
a little longer than that,
yeah,
but
okay.
still
10 years. But
yeah, but still, it's Frozen is in here, Moana is in here, Tangled is in here, and then we go all the way back to Snow White, which was the very first Disney movie, or actually the very first animated movie ever was Snow White. So
wow,
I didn't realize that was the first one ever.
it was the first animated motion picture at the theaters.
okay.
Nice.
Up until this movie, it was always live action at theaters.
Okay.
And probably relatively long too compared to anything else that may have been animated.
Yeah, I think they did like short, like they had like 15-minute shorts before movies and stuff before that. Snow White was the first full-length animated movie at theaters.
Wow, a new appreciation for that movie.
So we have a new set coming out. End of the month. What do you guys think of what we're seeing in the preview so far of it? Into the Inkland is the name of the new set coming out.
I'm being really, really like just my Disney side coming out, but we're getting Treasure Planet and Atlantis in this set, and the Disney afternoon shows. My little 15-year-old me is just screaming right now.
Yeah, like we're also like getting the more Kutko card. Like yeah, like this is definitely like I feel like this that so far is like growing up.
I'm excited to see the new feature, the lands. It's going to change the game slightly. It's going to change the strategy of the game, of how people play the game. So I'm interested to see how those play out right now.
So the land that got referred to them are the locations, which will probably make sure we use the like terminology because land and magic is a different term. But yeah, the location I am interested about because it is going to change the game. And I would be a little nervous about such a big mechanic change so early in a game's life, but they definitely had this plan all along. And I think you were the one that told me that they decided to wait a couple of steps before they introduced it to make it slightly easier for people to learn the game.
Yeah, because originally when it was announced, and don't quote me on this because, again, it's all hearsay that I've just read online, but some of the characters that we're seeing in set 2, in set 3, were originally planned for set 1. And they had to separate it out to make the card more accessible to new players. So they took things out, and that's why we saw with set 2 and now with set 3, we saw slightly new mechanics with each set coming out.
Also, that's probably why we ended up with 6 Timber cards in the first set.
Were there really that many?
There was like 5 or 6. There was a decent number.
See, there's the amber one, that's the bodyguard, the 2/3 bodyguard. There's for 2 ink. There's the steel one, that's 1/2. Also inkable for 1, I believe, right? And you take the top card of or you draw a card and then you discard a card. There's 2 blue Simbas.
Maybe
There's
there's
no...
no blue.
So we got the 2... So Simba himself has 4 cards.
Yeah.
So there's 3 steel,
Mufasa
and but then we had a Mufasa card. We have 3 Scar cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
A lot of Lion King IP.
Yeah, we had Timon, and actually, did we get Pumbaa in this set too? I know we got Timon. Yeah, we did. We did get Pumbaa as well. And I know the cards are coming. They haven't officially been revealed yet, but I know the hyenas are coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those
2 of them, or 1 has been revealed.
One had okay, because
Yeah.
I remember one because I saw one of the cards that said if you're interacting with the hyenas.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm not as well versed as Matt and Scott are into all of the Disney lore. I'm getting more into it now. Now that I have 2 young daughters, but Yeah, I think I'm excited just for the location cards. It adds a bit of variety. I don't think it's really going to be possible to have a deck that consists fully of locations, and I don't think it would be wise. But having it a diverse kind of field of some character cards and some location cards, which are both getting you lore or providing different abilities, protects you from things like Be Prepared, which destroys all character cards.
And another thing is, like, when your opponents are attacking, like, do they go for your characters or do they go for your locations? And a lot of the locations are kind of beefy. Like, a lot of them teams that have, like, 7 to 8 health, or I guess willpower is the correct term. And they don't do damage when you attack them. So I could throw a bunch of my characters at your location, and then that would stop me from gaining lore that turn. And my characters don't take any damage, but it protects your characters and open me up for a retaliation attack. So it's gonna add more strategy, and I'm very curious to see where this goes. I'm super excited for the Sorcerer's Lab location. I think Sorcerer's Lab, but it had more broom tribal, and I really want broom tribal.
Yeah, that's because Matt is obsessed with these brooms.
Since day one, yeah. You're talking about making a fully broom deck.
Broom tribal is hilarious, and I want to make one.
There's only 3 cards right now that affect brooms.
We're getting a 4th one, and I need another broom in this set. One more broom, and I got it.
What they're going to do, though, they're going to make them of all the different colors, and then you're never going to be able to combine them.
See, that's what I said. I thought there was going to be a broom of every color.
So
Matt's saying no.
so far, other than type, we're not seeing a lot of theme mechanic in a lot of stuff. Like Musketeers have kept the 2 colors.
Right. Princesses were mostly amber and sapphire with a splash of...
So princess, villain, hero, those like typing, we're seeing it. Those are too broad. There's no way they can limit those.
Sure. Okay.
Especially when you think of all the IPs, pretty much almost every character fits under princess, hero, or villain.
Yeah.
True. Although we haven't seen like any hero targeting cards, right? Or like ally, like any cards that specifically refer to the character type hero.
Not hero. Yeah, we
had princess.
We have princess, and we have villains. There's a couple that call that.
And I know in set 3 they're doing one that targets pirates.
Yep.
Because I've seen that card.
And then with the what is it? Not Duke of Wesselton. What's the in set 2? There was the one that gives all your royalty an additional strength.
He was the Duke.
What? It's the guy from
Grand Duke.
Grand Duke. It's the guy from Cinderella.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Prince, princess, king, and queen all get bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, until eventually we might get brooms of every color, but I'm hoping we get at least one more amethyst broom. So, because we put synergy. And if you want something to trigger off of another card, I think the magic number is at least 12.
Yeah, that's what I've seen people doing in their decks for songs or items or
Yeah, so if I really want broom to trigger, I have to make sure I have at least 12 brooms in my deck. So I just need one more broom character and to play a full set of all the brooms, and I can do pretty decent at getting the triggers off for the brooms.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. So, what do you hope to see out of Lorcana as the game grows and develops? It can be the game, it could the community itself.
Ooh. You threw me up for a loop when you throw community in there.
I'll start. I would say, jokingly, but also not, Floodborne Flounder and everything that
you are not getting your shark.
Everything that represents. I mean, I think, it would be cool to see. And I don't know how much control Disney has over the actual cards or types of cards that are created, but I think it would be really cool to see a lot more of those, Floodborne, what if scenarios or the Dreamborns, because it's just so fun to kind of ask yourself those questions and then see that card, just seeing them kind of out of character maybe.
And I told you guys both this before, I absolutely want to see a Floodborne that's a happy eel. Just make him happy.
Me? going to the original question, in the game and in the community. So the game-wise, I just want to see more of the IPs that are looked over. Black Cauldron. Iconic movie, got ignored for years. It's coming back in. People are really enjoying that movie. So I would love to see IPs like that brought into the game. Community-wise, I just want to see it stay, for lack of a better term, Disney-fied. It's that family-friendly, all-welcoming community. I know a lot of games get very, I don't want to say closed off to outsiders, but there's a lot of games that where they're like, it's either you play this game or we don't talk to you. And I would love to see Lorcana not become that. I want to see Lorcana stay the Disney family friendly, open to everybody.
Yeah, like how Pokemon is. Like, there's a lot of people who like the collected card game, and there are all people that play the game. Not many, but it's still like a open friendly game that a lot of people like. Like every year at Halloween, we hand out Pokemon cards instead of candy here in front of the top, and the kids love it. I mean,
Now, do you go and do the Pokemon Halloween cards that are specifically designed for being given out, or
we
you just
we did
do
that.
Pokemon?
We did that one year. They ran out, and then when we just started handing out singles, and people were just as happy with the singles, so now we just hand out singles.
Wow, nice.
Well, when you start handing out Lorcana, let us know. We'll be the first in line.
Yeah.
I might have to come back in 5 or 6 different costumes.
I mean, it's not gonna be all the common. But yeah, like I just really want to see the game like actually establish itself. I want to see it get a lot more recognizable. I would have to love if Disney actually did a TV show for it. Because like the Yu-Gi-Oh anime,
Bring back House of Mouse.
House of Mouse would be great. I don't want to see them develop more into the lore because like Magic throughout the years have really developed its lore and have a lot of novels and books. I think comics and books for the lore for the game would be pretty interesting because they do have lore, and we're probably going to cover that in a future episodes. Be interesting to see, and I just. Yeah, that's really want to see the game that's really grow and that's adapt with itself. You know, like a competitive and casual friendly, and that's really that become the staple trading card game I know it can become.
It would be interesting to see them do the lore like Magic does. So every time Magic comes out with a set, they release, 5 to 7 stories online?
Yeah, they do.
Something of it that goes into the detail of the cards, the storyline,
I don't think they do as much now because they're pumping out so many sets now. But like they definitely do. They do some short stories. A lot of big sets to do a novel.
Yeah, I was because like even the newest set I think had like 5 short stories released online.
Yeah.
Leading up to it. So yeah, it would be interesting to see Lorcana go more into that because right now we're just getting a short 2-minute video, if even that, and then a short story online per chapter. So yeah, it would be interesting to see them actually do actual stories set in the world of Lorcana.
Yeah, I think Matt, you hit the nail on the head. It would be so cool to have one of those, or like to take this, Lorcana IP and break it out into a television show. I mean, you brought up earlier when we were talking about this. They have their streaming service. They have, like everything there. Like you have all the backstories for all of these characters. Like,
They have the resources.
Yeah.
Like they can make
They have the power.
Yes.
And I think that ties into my, my last thing that I want to talk about. Of what I hope to see is, up until this point when I talk to people about Lorcana, I'm playing this new Disney trading card game. Nobody knows the name of it. And then when I bring it up, they're like, maybe I've heard of that. Unless they're already invested in it. It's just not that well known. And I feel like part of that could be, put on their, testing the waters, making sure that it's successful before they spend money on marketing and all this other stuff. But yeah, I would really like to see some more either backing or, somehow getting it out there. Because I think that this is just it's a fun game to learn. Even if you're not going to be a Lorcana lifer, to introduce you to the trading card game genre, to introduce you to, like all of the fun things that come with playing board games, tabletop games with friends.
Yeah, and like Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh would be where it's at without the TV show. And like I got really into Call of Vanguard, and that had a really good TV show. So like those really help sell and promote the game, and that get people excited, and also it's like that help come up with ideas, and that make it more acceptable. Oh, maybe not acceptable, but more notable.
Now, do you think Lorcana will eventually expand to, like, you talked about TV shows, but like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! There's toys, there's statues, there's T-shirts. Is that something Lorcana should be looking into, or?
I think eventually we're definitely gonna see some merchandise. Now, like we might not see any this year, but like we'll probably eventually we'll see some T-shirts. We're probably eventually gonna see some figurines. Like I would love a Mickey Mouse Wayward Tortured figurine.
I think that's every Lorcana person I talk to. That's like the iconic image of Lorcana right now.
Well,
is that Wayward Sorcerer Mickey?
Yeah, if they.
Or Honey Wizard.
I think Honey Wizard was set 2, but Lorcana in general was Sorcerer Mickey.
Well, that's the one. That and Brave Terror, Mickey Mouse Brave Terror are the one that they posted in all the promo images. But also, like we have the Precog Amber Elta one, that like Totoro one. I forget the full title of that one, and then Maleficent in Dragon form was another one that was constantly on all the promos.
Yeah, was it the Emerald one, Artful Rogue?
That one.
Or
That's the Elsa one.
oh, Elsa is what you're talking about. Yeah,
No, the Precog one.
The Snow Queen.
Yeah.
that's the one that you use a lot for your the posts here for the shop, right? For the
Yeah,
Lorcana?
that is the one we use a lot for the top promo materials.
Yeah, the Elsa Snow Queen. She's holding out her hand, and it appears to be some sort of lore book or something out in front of her with wisps of winter coming out of it. Some snowflakes, mountains in the background. Yeah, it's very curious as to what she's actually doing here.
But like, there's a lot of like with the Dream one and the Flood one, we see a lot of new versions of these characters. So it'd be really cool to see some merchandise of these characters. All right, so I'll call it of the week. So every week we're gonna pick one card, and we're gonna talk about it and discuss it. This card of the week is Ariel, Spectacular Singer. Scott, do you want to go over the details of the card that you have in front of you?
It's 3-cost inkable, 2/3 fight. I don't know how to say that, but basically it's attack for 2, defense for 3. So 1 lore. It has the ability of singer, which means it can sing songs in Lorcana at a higher cost than regular. And it also allows you to look at the top 4 cards of your deck when you play this card and pull out a song card.
Yeah, this card, artwork and everything else aside, just mechanically, I love it. I love cards that allow you to look through your deck and find things. It's not quite as good as, sorry for the Magic reference, but like tutors and things like that. But the idea of, I don't have an answer yet, maybe I can, kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! Heart of the cards and find what I need. There's just so many fun stories to be had when playing cards like these.
Yeah, it's always good when you play a card and it gives you something back. Trading card games are always resource management, and so it basically replenish your resources. If you're like whenever I play though, I never hit any of my songs. I'll play this, get all characters. I'll play B all guests, I'll get all songs. Like I just have the worst luck with the card.
Yeah, it is really fun too when you get the card that you want, and now it's kind of a game of poker with the person across from you, because you're like, I grabbed or I got the grab your sword.
Yeah, and
then they have to play around it knowing you have it,
Yep, you have to reveal the card you grab, so like your opponent knows what's coming. So it's fun. Like I like the card. It's a great card. I only have 1 copy right now, and that's in my Princess deck. I definitely think the card is very much playable, and like I think one of the top decks in the meta right now is Amber Teal song, and so that's the key component in that deck.
Yeah, I always like to look at these cards and compare them to what is the vanilla comparison, or like how do you compare it back to understand how valuable is Singer 5 or how valuable is the musical debut ability, and so for 2 strength and 3 willpower, typically you're looking at 2 cost inkable cards for 1 lore, or that can chew 1 lore, and so you have to think for just 1 more ink you get a Singer 5. And you get to look through the top 4 cards and of your deck and possibly find something you need. Like, to me, it's like I would 100% play her in any deck that has this color as long as I have, let's say, 8 songs.
Me, like, if you can't tell, Mike is the very much mechanically inclined person of this group. Me, I'm the very much the lore-based person. I compared this card to the actual movie. And what I laugh about when I see this card is Ariel is remembered as being this great singer. Mm-hmm. Even in the movie, they keep reference about how much she is this great singer. She sings 1 song in the entire movie. 1. Sebastian sings more songs than she does.
Do you want to sing for our audience what song that was?
No, I'm not going to sing it. But yeah, she has Part of Your World. That's the only song she sings in the entire movie. She doesn't even sing in any of the other songs. She's present, but she doesn't sing in them.
Well, it's because she loses her voice. That's part of the story, right?
Even before that, she's present during Under the Sea. She's present during what's Ursula's song?
The one they just released the new card for, yeah.
I'm completely Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Yes.
She's present for that song. Doesn't sing. She sings Part of Your World, and that's it. So I laugh when I see this card every time because they make her such a great singer card, but she's not a singer.
I don't want to sing too much on the podcast, but were there songs, or did she sing notes but that weren't part of songs?
She sings constant Part of Your World, the refrain. She hums it throughout the entire movie, but it's all Part of Your World.
Well, I mean, it's that quote, like you don't feel the put the note Kong 100 Kong, you feel the put the note Kong 1 Kong 100 times.
That's one really powerful
I will admit, the live action version, they gave her more songs.
Okay.
So she does have a wider singing in the live action than she does in the cartoon. But yeah, 1 song in the entire original movie.
So your critique would be, it's true to her character on paper, but not to her character
exactly
in the actual performance. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't really feeling how long it's been forever since I've seen that movie.
Everyone remembers her as being this great singer, and she has 1 song in the original movie. She technically too, if you count the reprise, but it's still the same song, just resung.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, I think we are doing a voice only podcast now, but if we are to look at the art, is there anything that stands out to you as comparing it to the animated movie,
okay.
Scott?
Thank you for bringing that up, because again, this scene actually invokes a direct scene from the movie, from the song she doesn't sing. This is coming straight from the song Under the Sea. It's tweaked for the card game, but the image of her in that pose with the fish around her comes directly from Under the Sea. And again, she doesn't sing in it. You would think if they're making it a card based around her singing ability, they would have drawn it from her 1 song.
Yeah. So that's another thing we did not mention earlier, but like people unfamiliar with the game. All of this artwork is original. With another thing, like I can gonna give it a lot of good life, and at night instead of just I've seen a lot of other card games that have tried and failed. Yeah, they did copy and paste from the original source material.
The other games use screen grabs.
Yeah,
and this is all, like you said, original artwork.
So it looked a lot nicer. The cards looked good together, and like it's more immersive than like you play a card game and you just see like Han Solo, Harrison Ford next to an animated wreck from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was wondering, before Rise of the Floodborn came out, what the Zootopia cards are going to look like, since that was, a 3D animated movie, and, they had to translate it to 2D animation. But I was glad to see that it still kept, the character feel and didn't look too out of place.
Yeah, because a lot of the cards had such different art styles from the original source material.
Yeah.
So the cards all being done new for the game make everything look nicer together. Like Scott right now flipping through his binder, and all the cards look so much alike, but like I see we got Judy Hopps here next to Jasmine, and like they all the same very similar styles, so the cards do not look out of place. But if you did Green Drab, these two would look so different from each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all these cards look like they're all animated. Mm-hmm. At least compared to the animated movies. So when you're looking at the movies that were computer generated, your Zootopia, your
This one from Kango. No, not Kango. That's from Frozen.
From Frozen, yeah.
Yeah.
Grandpappy.
Yeah, Grandpappy from Frozen.
From Frozen was computer animated.
Yeah.
You had the other card I was just looking at was Noe from Raya and the Last Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But they all look like they belong in the same movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something to... I think having good art that is cohesive is something that's overlooked until you play a game that has art that just like some just doesn't fit a similar style across the board. I mean, it's not just card games. Just because we're sitting at the back of a game store and I see a box for Terraforming Mars, and like I love that game, but just the art on it, some of it is just does not match other art of other cards, and props to the people who make games, because there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it is really nice when things just look like they belong together.
Yeah. So, we do wrap it up. Thank you all for listening. If you actually listen, this is our 10th episode, so you either someone who we already know, or maybe we'll throw this on a bonus for Patreon. But, yeah, thank you for the time. Thank you, Adventure Inc., for sponsoring this podcast. Mm-hmm. Next week, when we record, we'll do Mickey Mouse Way or Torture as our call of the week. Any other things you guys would like to add as we wrap up?
No, just excited for Into the Inklands. Every new set brings in new players, so it's exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're interested more in the game, we're here every Friday night, 6 o'clock. Come check us out.
Yeah, Adventure Inc., Milan, Michigan. Remember, folks, Adventure awaits.